Yeah, YouTube didn't really like my Season 1 review of Sex Education. Guess because of the title. So can we get an S in the chat for Sad Austin and Sex Education? What is up, Flick fans? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking Season 2 of Sex Education on Netflix. I need your comments down below. Were you looking forward to this season, and did it deliver? As a late bloomer, Otis must master his newly discovered sexual urges in order to progress with his girlfriend while dealing with his new strained relationship with Maeve. Meanwhile, his school is struck with a chlamydia outbreak, highlighting the need for better sex education at the school, and new kids come to town who end up challenging the status quo. So we have Asa Butterfield once again returning as this character, and I believe this with all of my heart, that Otis is the best Asa Butterfield has ever been. He is so good and believable as this character. We also have Gillian Anderson returning, and Chute Gatwa, who I want to highlight here really quick, as Eric, is possibly my favorite character of the entire series. He is just as good in this season. Really, everyone is. We cannot fault the cast. We cannot fault the direction. We cannot fault the script, because it stays amongst what we know and love from the first season. Really, the status quo at this point. It's going to start out awkward in every single episode until it swerves you with a random episode and you think it's leading into something, and it really doesn't. The show knows exactly what it is, and that's what's so beautiful. That's what's so beautiful about Sex Education, kids. But seriously, this is a show that just knows what it is. Austin, how'd you feel about Season 2? Sometimes you're watching something, you just sit back and you start thinking about the fact that, and maybe it's not even a Season 2 or a 3, maybe it's a Season 5 or a 6, but you realize this show is finding its stride. This show knows where it's going, and it understands its characters in such a way that maybe some didn't even believe it could in Season 1, and that's how I feel about Season 2 already of Sex Education. I'm feeling that way, and I think this show is just the bomb. And honestly, I may like Season 2 more than Season 1. I feel like we're diving a bit more into the characters in this season. We're understanding what makes them tick, what makes them other things. We have Otis dealing with his very own issues in the first couple of episodes. He's having some issues. Can't really keep him down. Bingo! Now, logically, are there ways that you can prevent that problem? Yeah, man, just, I don't want to go into this in this review, but it's played for comedic effect, and it works so well because this show is a very different tone from pretty much every other show on Netflix. It highlights the comedic elements in such a way that maybe distances itself a bit from reality, but it also amplifies itself so much that you believe it. Every character is a tad bit exaggerated, and normally, and you guys know me, normally that would bother me, but with this show, it seems like every character fits so perfectly within this world. It feels like this school, this group of kids, they're all in their own little corner of the universe, and you just believe the way that everyone interacts with each other so much, and I love the progression of the characters. Like I said, Otis is dealing with his issues, but then Maeve, and you saw this in the trailer, so not a spoiler, but Maeve comes back into town. She weasels her way back into his life. There is a struggle because he now has a new girlfriend, which evolves into another problem because now his mother is in a relationship with her father, and it's just this big, odd, strange, quote-unquote family dynamic that evolves even more so when his father comes back into town. So all of those relationships are great. His relationship with his current girlfriend is thoroughly entertaining. I really enjoy that actress and her work, and as we progress through the season, she starts to realize that she's feeling a bit differently about certain things than you would think at the beginning of the season. So to see that relationship progress was really entertaining. And then you have Eric dealing with his own thing because there's a new kid in town, so there's a relationship going on there. But we also have the return of certain characters in this season that make things a tad bit more difficult. And speaking of which, the character of Connor is dealing with his own issue, really the fallout of Season 1, but it really is focusing on him finding out who he is as a person and taking the blame, taking responsibility for certain things that get him in a lot of trouble, but maybe it's not always his fault. And that really is what the crux is of this show, is kids, teens, everyone in the show finding who they are, not just sexually. I mean, that's a big part of the season. I've still not really hit on all of that stuff, right? And if you watch Season 1, First of all, if you enjoyed Season 1, you're most likely back here to figure out if Season 2 is worth watching. If you didn't like Season 1, I don't really know who's watching this review that didn't like Season 1. I mean, sure, try Season 2, but you're not going to like Season 2 if you did not like Season 1, and I understand why some did not, right? This is a very overly sexual show, and some of the imagery and some of the scenes, I think, is going to be a bit much for some people. I wouldn't watch this with my family, but I would watch it by myself and with my wife because we find stuff like this hilarious. It's all about the way that it's presented and executed on screen, and I think if you're back here looking for someone's thoughts on YouTube about Season 2 of Sex Education, just know that this season is more of the same, but I don't say that in a negative way. I say that in the best way possible. It's more of everything you love about this show, but in my opinion, I know everyone's not going to feel this way, in my opinion, it may be even better. I think the characterizations are a bit stronger. I think the writing is a bit more slick. I even thought the episodes moved a bit quicker. Only 8 episodes, really not too long, about 50 minutes per episode, but I flew through this season of television. I was in love with where these characters were going, figuring themselves out. No, I don't agree with everything that everyone believes in this show. There are certain characters that think they know everything, and then they come to realize, well, maybe I don't. And Otis is a prime example. He is the guy that's filling everyone in the school in, running his own business, basically, about, you know, what the title suggests. But here's the funny part. Maybe he himself is not as informed when it comes to performing these actions, when it comes to feeling the way he's supposed to feel about his girlfriend. So that is probably the funniest struggle that was played on in this series. There were so many memorable moments, so many memorable lines. A few times, and I said this about last season, a few times where they did push the envelope in such a way, and I just feel kind of odd. I mean, for the most part, you feel odd watching this show if you're by yourself. You're just sitting there going, oh, this is a little cringy because you're supposed to be watching, even though it's older actors. I don't even want to get into that, but it is weird. But when it comes to a show knowing exactly what it is and what people crave from this, I think they're going to get a lot out of it. And it's just entertaining. Not just entertaining, not just comedic, not just funny, which it is all of those things. But we also have some side characters dealing with their own legitimate problems that call for a lot of emotion to be displayed by those characters, and because of that, it gets you emotional. The storyline from Amy, I thought, was really, really well done. At first, it was played for comedy, but as you progress and as you learn, no, this is really affecting her emotionally, it just gets deeper than that. We had some deep things in Season 1, but I believe Season 2 goes deeper. I believe it's funnier. I thoroughly enjoy this season of television, man. If you're in on Sex Education, I think you're going to really enjoy this season. If you guys enjoyed this video and you like what we're doing every single weekend, before I get into my score, be sure to smash that thumbs up button and let me know in the comments, is this one of your favorite shows on Netflix? With my score, I'm going in 88%. Yeah, in January, we get an 88% television show. I mean, my goodness, guys, what an entertaining time. And it was such a breeze to go through, such a breeze. Really enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know all of those things in the comments down below. And be on the lookout because I may have a review of another Netflix series coming this weekend, and I'll be counting down my top 10 biggest snubs at this year's Oscars this weekend. Be on the lookout. I'll catch you guys very, very soon.